At the center of the storm stood Luo Feng. Led by the Heavy Arrow King, he had braved countless layers of restriction, each one more perilous than the last, to finally arrive before the towering shadow of the Star Tower. Around him, hundreds of thousands of Immortal Kings had gathered, their auras clashing like the roaring waves of an endless ocean. Each of them had come with one purpose: to seize the treasure that could change their destiny forever. The Sealing Star was no ordinary artifact. It possessed the power to suppress even the might of time and space itself. Rumor had it that whoever could refine it would not only command immense strength, but might even take a step toward becoming a universe lord. That possibility alone was enough to drive every living being in the universe into madness. The forbidden region that once lay silent was now a battlefield of destruction, filled with endless killing intent and greed. Luo Feng stood quietly amid this chaos. His sharp eyes swept over the battlefield as endless beams of divine power collided in the distance. The sky was torn apart by countless explosions as immortal kings perished one after another. In this kind of battle, even the slightest hesitation could mean death. Every time a king fell, their divine bodies shattered, and their world ring, containing everything they had accumulated in their lifetime, drifted into the void. To some, these rings were nothing compared to the Sealing Star, but for Luo Feng, they represented a golden opportunity. He understood better than anyone that he was not yet qualified to compete for the Sealing Star. Among the many contenders were names that struck fear into all who heard them: Nan Xing of the Zerg, the Lightfall King of the Mechanical Clan, and the 7 Sword Kings representing the pinnacle of the human race. These were top-tier existences who could kill with a single thought. If he tried to seize the Sealing Star now, he would only become their prey. And so, Luo Feng chose a different path. While the battlefield erupted with chaos, he and the Heavy Arrow King slipped through the shadows like hunters among beasts. Every time an Immortal King fell, they moved swiftly, gathering the fallen rings and treasures before anyone else could react. The world rings of fallen kings were filled with immeasurable wealth: artifacts, inheritances, secret manuals, divine stones, and cultivation materials from countless worlds. Each one was a fortune enough to make even the mightiest hesitate. In this slaughter, Luo Feng's strategy was one of patience and precision. He didn't seek the brightest flame, he sought the embers that others ignored. With each strike, with each plundered treasure, his wealth and strength grew quietly. The Heavy Arrow King, ever loyal and cautious, followed closely behind, guarding Luo Feng's back as they navigated through the mayhem. But fate would not allow peace for long. Just as Luo Feng was about to retreat with his gains, a sudden pulse of divine energy filled the void. From the distant edge of the battlefield, a figure cloaked in shimmering light appeared. King Tianzhen, also known as the Heavenly Formation King. Known throughout the human race as a master of formations and strategy, his reputation was one of brilliance and trustworthiness. Many saw him as a stabilizing force among the humans, one who valued unity and order. With a smile that hid his true intentions, the Heavenly Formation King extended an invitation to Luo Feng. He had created a temporary virtual space, summoning over 1,000 powerful Immortal Kings to form an alliance. The plan was simple: unite under one banner, drive back the other clans, and seize the Sealing Star through sheer coordination and numbers. On the surface, it was a logical proposal. The Zerg and Mechanical clans were too powerful for any single faction to resist. Only through cooperation could they hope to compete. Luo Feng hesitated at first. He was well aware that alliances forged in the midst of treasure hunts were as fragile as glass. But after considering the situation, he agreed to join. If nothing else, he could use this opportunity to observe, to gather information, and perhaps find a safer path forward. The Thousandman Alliance was born. Under the leadership of the Heavenly Formation King, they surged toward the Sealing Star like a tidal wave. As the Alliance advanced, the battlefield entered a new phase of chaos. The formation devised by the Heavenly Formation King was nothing short of masterful. Each Immortal King took a precise position, channeling divine energy in patterns that reinforced and protected one another. Even the ferocious Nan Xing and Lightfall King found themselves momentarily stalled before this combined power. But beneath this unity lurked deception. The Heavenly Formation King's true purpose was not cooperation, but manipulation. He had no intention of sharing the sealing star. His alliance was a tool, a web woven from lies and greed. Within it, he had hidden his most loyal followers, souls enslaved through secret demonic techniques, disguised as ordinary allies. These soul slaves acted as his hidden blades, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Luo Feng, ever vigilant, began to sense that something was off. The coordination among the Thousand seemed flawless, too flawless. The Heavenly Formation King's commands flowed like an unbroken melody, and yet every movement seemed to draw Luo Feng subtly toward the center of the formation. He thought it was coincidence until he realized that every time danger approached, the others seemed to react in ways that left him exposed. When the Heavenly Formation King reached out to him once more, requesting his help to suppress a sudden surge of demonic power from within the ranks, Luo Feng acted without hesitation. He unleashed his divine domain, spreading his spiritual awareness to aid in stabilizing the formation. But the instant he did, a chilling realization struck him. The so-called demonic surge wasn't from outside, it was from within. A faint laugh echoed in his mind. The Heavenly Formation King's calm voice turned sharp and mocking. In that moment, the virtual space around Luo Feng shifted violently. The formation that once shielded him now turned inward, becoming a cage. Thousands of threads of divine energy coiled around him, sealing his movements, draining his divine power, and isolating him from his clone bodies. Luo Feng's expression hardened. He now understood that the Heavenly Formation King had long set his sights on him, not because of the sealing star, but because of the treasure Luo Feng carried, the sacrificial tower. Few in the universe knew of its existence, but the Heavenly Formation King was no ordinary schemer. He had been watching, waiting for the right opportunity to strike, and now Luo Feng had walked straight into his trap. The Heavy Arrow King's shout of alarm echoed faintly through the void, but by the time he reacted, countless divine arrays had already surrounded Luo Feng. The soul slaves of the Heavenly Formation King launched their assault, their divine bodies exploding in coordinated bursts of energy, their purpose not to kill, but to suppress. Within moments, Luo Feng's power was sealed, and the Heavenly Formation King approached him slowly, eyes gleaming with greed. Luo Feng, his voice resonated coldly, you've hidden well, but treasures like the sacrificial tower are not meant for someone like you. Hand it over, and I might grant you a swift death. Luo Feng's gaze remained steady. Within his heart, fury burned like an inferno. He had faced death countless times before. This was not the end. Deep within his body, his consciousness reached out toward his divine clones scattered across the cosmos. His mind sharpened like a blade, preparing for the inevitable counterattack. As the trap closed in around him and betrayal revealed its fangs, the void trembled once more. A faint golden light flickered within Luo Feng's eyes, the prelude to a storm yet to come. The battle for the Star Tower's treasure had only just begun, and though Luo Feng now stood on the brink of death, those who sought to use him would soon learn that the prey they hunted was not so easily devoured. The curtain had risen, and the war of destiny would decide who among the countless kings would rise, and who would be buried forever in the dust of the Star Tower. Dear viewers, what do you think awaits Luo Feng? Will he escape the Heavenly Formation King's trap? Or will the Star Tower become his tomb? The answer lies ahead as the legend of Luo Feng continues to unfold in the boundless universe of Swallowed Star. And so, the fierce battle for the Star Tower's treasure enters its most dangerous phase. What began as a contest for glory has turned into a web of deceit, where allies hide daggers and every step could lead to ruin. Luo Feng, trapped within the schemes of the Heavenly Formation King, stands on the razor's edge between life and death. Yet if there's one thing his journey has proven, it's that Luo Feng never bows to fate. From the endless wars of the universe to the struggles of his own heart, he has always turned despair into strength. As the trap tightens, a new storm brews within the Star Tower. The greed of countless immortal kings, the ambitions of the great clans, and the mysterious power of the sealing star, all are about to collide in a battle that will shake the heavens. What will become of Luo Feng? Will he find a way to turn the tables on the Heavenly Formation King, Or will this forbidden battlefield claim yet another soul? The answer will be revealed in the next chapter of Swallowed Star. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. Your support helps this universe grow even stronger. Until next time, stay tuned, because the true battle for the Star Tower has only just begun.